Okay, shut up.
You're here hanging with your main man, Bud Light.
And I'm William, as presented by Domino's Pizza. Ooh.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, give me some. Cut me a piece.
Hi guys. So, this is probably a mistake, but
This is definitely a mistake.
this is not a good time.
For sure.
But we're here talking about Mike Judge's Idiocracy. Engaging in our own.
I saw this movie a little bit after it came out. I loved Office Space. That was like one of my all-time favorites. One of the last episodes that I was filming with William, as presented by Dominos.
I'm the Secretary of State, brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because they pay me every time I do.
I made a reference to a Idiocracy joke, and he just kind of looks at me. And I believe the reference was, I think you were asking for water, and I said, oh, like from the toilet?
I think this might be Gatorade or something. I was just looking for some regular water.
Water?
Yeah.
You mean like in the toilet?
And he just looks at me like I'm some sort of weirdo, and I'm like, then I'm kind of looking at him, and then I realize William's never seen Idiocracy.
The economy was in a state of deep neglect. A great dust bowl had ravaged food supplies, and the #1 movie in the country was called Ass.
Inez, you've never seen Idiocracy either. What did you think of it?
Well, Chris, I liked it. I got where it was going. I love Mike Judge. I'm a huge fan. I feel like I'm more of a fan of his television stuff than I am of his movies. I always just feel like he's better in television outside of Office Space. I thought it was a really good movie overall, but I found some of his jokes to be they got a little old towards the end. In the beginning, I laughed more in the beginning of the movie than I did towards the end. By the end of the movie, I found myself laughing less and less and less.
This goes in your mouth. This one goes in your ear. And this one goes in your butt.
I think he got a lot of his A material up front, and then the joke kind of petered out at the end. By the end of the movie, I was kind of feeling like this isn't expressing that many ideas that Matt Groening hasn't already done with, you know, several seasons of Futurama. The dumb guy who's now suddenly the smartest guy in the future felt like very Futurama vibes.
So he was the average guy.
Incredibly average.
Is it weird that I felt I really identified with Luke Wilson's character in this movie? Like,
No, because I feel like Luke Wilson was every person, which is what we were supposed to feel like.
Average and boring in every way. Is that sad?
Please speak your name as it appears on your current federal identity card. L8.
Well, I'm not sure if
You have entered the name not sure.
Even as a woman, I felt like Luke Wilson.
Can we make that as a t-shirt?
Sure.
What did you think, Chris? I'm sorry, what did you think, Bud Light?
Thank you.
I have to respect you know, your choices.
My mother named me that way for a reason. I think that's fair criticism. I think it's kind of the same thing with Office Space. Like, they kind of decide later on, it's like, oh, we kind of need a plot maybe to make this a movie instead of just like a joke.
I agree, Office Space does kind of have that like tacked on plot for like the last 30 minutes.
Yeah. It's like so full of jokes and little sight gags and things like that like you kind of catch on with every rewatch that you get. There's things that I just realized, you know, just this last rewatch that I found hilarious.
It's weird because he's such a smart writer, and I feel like he can't do smart and stupid at the same time.
I'm fixing to commensurate this trial here.
I think that's a great point.
It's
I
either
really do.
it's either Beavis and Butthead, which is hilarious, or it's something really smart like Silicon Valley, but I don't really think he's very successful in mixing the two. I don't know if it's just a flaw in his filmmaking or his writing style, but I feel like he can only indulge in one impulse at a time. He can't really blend.
I think that's a very great point, because I felt that throughout the movie. I felt like there was so much that I could tell that he was trying to do, but then he didn't accomplish throughout the whole movie.
Definitely.
Like, that's how the whole movie read to me. I could see 100% where he was trying to go, but every time he fell back into butt fuckers and like, you know, the different like jokes. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was so funny, and I enjoyed that very much. But then when he was trying to be smart, it just didn't kind of always correlate to that part of it.
I did enjoy the shot of the sign of butt fuckers,
absolutely. I
and then
thought
it
that
pans
was
down to a
hilarious.
children's birthday party.
Absolutely.
I really did like that.
I agree. Those were the types of moments that I enjoyed the most.
Right.
But then when he tried to enlighten us, so to speak, and give us this reference of like, of it being a smarter movie than it was, I found it lacking. I found that it wasn't kind of hitting the mark that he was trying to hit.
I did enjoy the opening sequence that explained how we became this society.
That was my favorite part of the movie, honestly.
That was a solid joke.
I loved that.
Having kids is such an important decision.
Oh shit, I'm pregnant again!
I got too many damn kids.
It was hilarious.
And that would have been a great short film, just in that like little web series kind of a moment. Is like, this is, that moment.
I absolutely agree.
I'm gonna fuck all y'all. That's my boy.
Watching the movie isn't really like kind of the thing. I think it's like an okay movie, but it's what makes it better and what makes it so funny is remembering it and referencing it after.
I completely agree. Like, the movie as a whole doesn't quite work, but there are a lot of solid jokes in it. So in terms of a movie that you reference, it's like skipping a stone across a pond. You can touch upon all the things that were funny and just kind of forget everything else.
What's the president's name? I'm sorry, I have to just because
Donald Trump?
No.
Oh, Camacho.
Camacho. Who's Camacho? Terry Crews. I love Terry Crews.
President of America.
Terry Crews is the
So I'm sorry, but I was
standout.
trying to because he's my favorite part of the movie
He's
by
the
a long
standout
shot.
of the movie.
That's what I thought.
He is my favorite part of the movie.
I actually think the movie needed more of him. I was expecting more of him. I knew he was the president in this movie, and I know that Terry Crews is big, like a big star.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a big guy. He is a big guy. I expected him to be in more of the movie. When he didn't show up until almost the third act of the movie, I was like a little disappointed because Terry Crews is so funny and he has such great comic timing. I think it would have been better with more Terry Crews.
My favorite fart. Oh my god.
This is like taking off years of my life, I feel like.
Teddy Crews is my favorite.
Wait, you just call him Teddy Crews?
Terry.
I'm sure he is snuggly, but...
I've only taken, literally, I've only taken 2 drinks.
You want to be in the video now, Maddie?
Wait, were you calling him that because of Ted Cruz?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I got
Teddy Crews, good old Teddy Crews. I think Terry Crews made a really great transition from being just I think he was in the NFL for 1 or 2 seasons, but he pivoted hard. And he didn't just pivot into an actor. We've seen a lot of NFL stars that just do stupid action movies. He knew he's a funny guy, and he is a funny guy, and he has great comic timing in this, in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Anything he does, the scene gets at least 30-40% better when Terry Crews walks on, because you know he's going to be great.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I give you my word. He's gonna fix the dust on the street.
I think he makes everything that he's in 10 times better.
Yeah.
And I honestly would say that I would not have enjoyed the movie as much as I did without him. He is just so good in this, and he's so funny. And everything about him, even in the scenes when he's not really in and he's just cheering in the audience, with his harem of women around him, he is just hilarious. I will say this, my favorite cabinet member is that young kid that's in the movie.
If you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
He's my favorite of all of them.
contest?
Yeah, the one who won the contest. That kid is spectacular. I love him.
I like the Secretary of Education.
So you and I had talked about this, and there were times where the dropping of the FAG word really out of place. There were times where characters said it in the film that I felt like Mike Judge was making a comment on society, getting dumber to the point of just using that word without thinking. And that would have been fine, but there are times when the narrator of the movie used it, and I felt like that kind of took me out of it then. It was definitely of its time of 2006?
2006, I agree. Yeah. When it was said as a joke, to make fun of the character and how stupid they were. I understood that.
Right.
But as you pointed out, when there are times when the narrator said it and just felt kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
It felt uncomfortable for me.
As well as like some parts of the plot that just kind of went on a little longer than its joke. Those type of things were the things that like pulled me out of the movie. It's definitely quotable and very funny in numerous parts. Like it just, when it's on, it's on. I would return to this movie.
I would too.
I'm glad you guys checked it out. I drank too much of this. I did not mean to drink this much, but it's actually tasting really good now.
Thank you for joining us, guys. It was great to have our great friend Inez back to join us for this video. Please like and subscribe all of our videos. Please watch them, share them with your friends, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, cheers everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Woo.
God, I still can't get over the taste.